Greetings and join us. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're coming into the holiday, at least for the U.S. I don't think the British are going to be celebrating. Of course, they're controlling the U.S. at a certain level, so maybe they are celebrating it. So Madonna, I guess Madonna had some kind of near-death experience or something like that recently. She's also connected to the Kabbalah energies, so I would say it's kind of like a reset that's going on. I don't know. She doesn't look like Madonna anymore. It's like some kind of creature. So the joys of plastic surgery. I'm not going to put a picture over here. I mean, I don't think I can handle it. I think I'm scared of it. So, but anyway, Madonna is like a controlled cabal energy. So of course she gave herself away to it. That's on her though. Yikes. It's kind of strange. A lot of these celebrities are getting their faces all remade and all that. Like they look like creatures at some point, depending on who it is. Kind of overdoing it. She definitely overdid it. So, just think like the main timeline, and somebody like that is not feeling well. So who knows? She might cross over. It's hard to say at this point, but. Only reason I'm bringing her up is because she has a Kabbalah connection. She got sick, and we're going some kind of unknown territory right now. Not that it's going to be doomsday or anything like that, or anything of that kind. Just we're going through change that hasn't quite kicked in yet. At least on a map that we can see it, like we know what we're getting into. It hasn't made itself that clear, so. Yeah, it feels like she hit a bump in the road, but either way. And she might cross over. Who knows? If they reject this timeline, it's like, I don't want to be part of that timeline anymore. And then they leave. So, especially not being worshipped or anything like that. Well, she is technically being worshipped now to a certain level. So, maybe not as much as before, but there's still definitely some black magic going on there. And also a time traveler. I'll just call him Sergey. So you can look up his name. There's videos on. That's why I found it. It was pretty interesting. Believe it or not, whatever. So he showed up in Russia. I forgot where, but it doesn't matter. In year 2026. Oh, 2006. There, 2006. And he was wandering around, was kind of lost, and his clothes are from the 1950s. The police came to him and thought he was acting a little strange because the buildings that he was looking for, the city he was looking for, wasn't there anymore. And his clothes are from the 1950s. He had a camera from the 1950s, and they brought him to a psychiatrist. Or a psych ward, whatever it is. They're either throw him in jail or have him see a head doctor. And he told him about, one day he was in the 1950s and he saw an object in the sky. It was like a bell-shaped object. He saw it in the sky. All of a sudden, he's in the future. And so they put him in a room for the night and he was gone the next day. It's like there's no way for him to leave. So it's just, and he did pop up again. So they went to see his girlfriend that was still alive. She was older, of course. And she said he did show up again. He disappeared during that time, 1950s. And I think he came back in the 1970s for a short time, if I remember that right. And then he disappeared again. I guess he gave her a picture from the future. I don't know how that works. I don't know about that part, but something like that. But he left his camera. He left the pictures. And I don't have the pictures here, but I don't know if there is. Maybe I can look it up. But anyway, it's just kind of an interesting story on it. Yeah, there's a lot of recreations going on with it. I just leave it. But either way, it's still interesting. Why would you make that up? It has an energy around it that it feels very real, but who knows? Well, either way, I mean, a person, he saw the object, and well, you say him and the object were time traveling together. And yeah, it sounds bizarre. But if you guess you go fast enough, you can go through time. So, which I don't know a lot about time travel. Because I channel time travel energies, but I don't really go into the physics of it. But you saw a bell, and you got the picture of the bell object in the sky. I don't know if those pictures are real. Either way, I haven't looked too deeply into this. But anyway, it's kind of I don't know, for making up something like this, it has a lot of details to it for something that's made up. It sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's still very original though. So I mean, is at one place at one time. He takes a picture of an object in the sky, and now he's in 2006. So it was Russia somewhere. So it's an interesting energy there. Of course, those that are the physical people here don't believe in those type of things. Obviously, you can't always believe everything, but there is obviously mysteries in the world and everything. So, anything is possible. Let's put it that way. Of course, that whole Titanic thing is so many different, so many different conspiracies about it. You can make your head spin. And even this whole Madonna thing, it's another thing that can get all crazy with that. Like I said, with Madonna, it feels like she kind of hit it like a speed bump, something to do with our timeline shift that's going on. And yeah, if they reject our timeline, it's like, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to experience this anymore. And then they cross over. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe celebrities will start, some celebrities might start dying off. You never know. I don't remember what happened recently, but I remember a while back, like in December time, a lot of celebrities start crossing over for the new year. So I haven't kept up on it, but I don't know about last year, but I know it was years ago. Even when I started channeling, I forgot when that was. Remember, celebrities they're all just dying one after the other. So the woman I need to kill us, or it's just time for them to leave. And also timeline magicians. It's magic in the astral realms. So kind of going from a magical direction, basically an astral. Of course, technically I have been doing that, but this is kind of like a different energy around it. Just gets more of I guess a supernova point of view of it or something like that. Either way, I know many people think the bad guys are going to lose and everything. Been saying that for thousands of years. This world's a school, so it's not going to change its ways anytime soon. It's when you're good at something, it's not going to just give up on it just like that. I guess it gives some people relief. The bad guys are going to be going away, but there's so many of them out there. How is that going to happen? So, there's a lot of them, that's for sure. So, all right. So I'm going to come in private sessions, schedule. I have the shop here, the webinar, social network, behind the scenes, and the archive. Okay. All right. Yeah, the energies are a little bit cooled down. So, because the holidays coming in. All right. So, we connect to this Madonna energy or Kabbalah frequency. Yeah, probably Kabbalah energy is what's going on, because they do play a big role in controlling our reality through magic. So it's like a magic session, you can say. So, then go to time traveler energies and then to the timeline frequencies. So, all right, blessings. Greetings. This is the Kabbalah frequency. Yes, you can say it's connected to a lot of your founders of your planet. They don't necessarily want to get. They're founders of your modern world, you can say. Not necessarily the founders of humanity or anything like that. The magicians, yes. There's also connections to the Atlantean frequencies. Basically, they can create certain mindsets to control society, especially through religions. So religions, like all religions have their own um, mind control systems, and obviously many are trying to break free. But there's one after the other. It's not the easiest thing to free yourself from. Of course, there's also like a depression energy around the Earth. Also, that has a lot to do with the beings here. There, basically, the being or the Kabbalah frequencies created a lot of low energies because they're at a low energy due to the land. Like the Atlantis was supposed to be like the controller of the Earth, but technically it still is. It's just not here physically. It's just many do wish the old Atlantean energies are still here. The structures. You can say the Tartarian energies comes from the Atlanteans. You can say a offshoot. You can say, and the Masons are more, to make things happen here. They're the ones that are behind the scenes, of course, not to be seen for the most part. And it's basically even some of your wealthy people, a lot of them are not heard of or seen. You might know their names, possibly. Some are not to be seen. Of course, then you have your billionaires that are kind of like People Magazine, celebrities, just to, well, it's distractions from the ones that are behind the scenes. So they're kind of like clowns in some regard. A major distraction. But the ones that are behind the scenes, it's like they're connected to the Kabbalah. They might have other ways of speaking about it, but they don't like the connection to the light, meaning they don't like attention at all. Like they will snap at anyone that gives them too much attention, like even photographs of themselves, things like that. So they might go to some of these events, but usually want to go there quietly. So it's just because it's a tightrope of controlling society. It doesn't mean they have all the answers or anything like that, but they know they can, you can say, push a couple buttons and control your society behind the scenes. Madonna just tapped into their energies to be controlled by them more publicly, to kind of like be almost a bit of like a Freemason frequency there too. Kind of like, yeah, it's part of the ritual, even to be sacrificed if that's the case. She has some of those energies around her. So obviously, I mean, yeah, it's a witch energy. There is a lot of rituals going on with her music, and she's like one of the more powerful magicians out there, actually, publicly at least. So not necessarily used all the time. She does her own thing. But there is messages there too. Well, she taps into the astral to bring, and the astral beings here, obviously, the ones that are controlling your current reality, the non-physical entities. Of course, there's physical controls here too, and they don't always get along either. Non-physical and physical do fight each other out. So connecting those frequencies, getting to know it, it's just basically some knowledge has come to you if you're meant to have it. That will come to you in your own healing, your own clarity. Of course, many aren't really looking into that, but some are trying to look into in between the lines how this timeline operates, how it functions, and not everybody is up for that because there is a lot of dense energy, but you're in a time of change. A big change, not necessarily, yes, it's not going to be the end of your world, but more like a transformation of it, more clarity actually. Some do not want like a bit of an awakening to come through, and you'll see those that don't want the awakening. Now there's different ways of describing what awakening is, but just basically kind of like, shedding light on the shadows that are here and the mysteries to bring more light into how your world became to what it is. So, because speaking cryptically about it, I believe some of you understand But basically, more of your there still be mysteries here, but they bring more truths here, especially those that are looking for more clarity. I can't seem to find it, and a lot of it will be cryptic also. But basically, it's like society is not lying to itself. Well, the controllers are obviously diluting creativity, destroying everything because they have no creativity. How can you be creative if you don't have it? Well, it's connected to the archon frequency. So, but you are coming into like a bit of a new renaissance. But you'll know it when you see it. Brings we have time traveling frequencies connected to your Sergei. Well, if we just go by the time traveling energies, yeah, some individuals can time travel, like they are time travelers, and they can shift without technology. They might have assistance from alien energy, but overall, they can time travel without anybody's help. Yeah, it's kind of strange there. You should do it with your own energy, and it can be confusing for them too. They kind of just wander throughout your timeline. There's actually a lot of them, but they don't make themselves known. I believe this has been brought up in the past also, but it just shows that as your Earth starts to awaken itself more, some of these time travelers will have no problem making themselves known. So they know when they make themselves known, people are just going to just say, "Oh, it's this, it's that, it's not real," and let's go back to the old world, old thinking. But these guys have been around forever. Yeah, they don't need any technologies, just on their frequency, and a lot of times they just travel randomly. And technically, it's kind of exciting. It might be a little bit. It's not your normal life, as you can see. But some of you might be able to tap into some of these frequencies and feel them around. It doesn't mean you're going to run into one. It's unlikely because they're not known to make themselves known. And they might talk about it in small circles if they're not traveling throughout timelines all the time. But yeah, eventually you'll have like a time traveling surge, meaning that some people are going to start remembering their time traveling, you know, ways because everyone's had some form of it at some point of their incarnation. It's just, when you're in a dense world like this, moving along the timelines is, it's cheaper than the bus. Thing is, when you travel, you're in a whole different world. And it does get it's like time jumping, technically. And when you get to a new place, it's like, what do you do now? Because you're such a foreigner. It's like going to another country, but you're actually going to another version of Earth, basically, you can say. So there's going to be some confusion with that. Why would someone like appear and then disappear? A lot, yeah. It's in that case when this person disappeared, there was alien beings assisting just to get him out of there. But it's not always the case, though. So these powers do exist. Some of you know of it. They're not known, not supposed to be. Me, you can say it can be a little bit scary here. Of course, you do have alien people walking among you, not just those that are incarnated, but just they look like you, smell like you, but they're not you. And they haven't quite made themselves known for obvious reasons. You'll come into a time period of that eventually. The time traveler one, just kind of give me a glimpse with what is there and what is possible. Greetings to you. Yeah, energies, yes, magician frequencies connected to your world Well, there's many magicians that just want to, yeah, take your planet out just to get rid of it. They feel like it's done its thing. It's already accomplished what it needs to accomplish. Some will say that there's nothing accomplished, but actually a great deal. But there is a magician war on your planet for sure. Yeah, there are beings that just want to just get rid of this planet altogether. Why is because they feel like it's done everything it needs to do, and now it's just a stagnant energy. It's just absorbing frequencies. It's not doing anything. And realize the ones that are saying that are more of a malevolent frequency. But the other time, magician beings more of the positive would no. It's like yes, this world's difficult, but many souls still need they need its energy. They need its harness their slow things down for themselves, clarity about themselves. Yes, get away from the astral plane to clear those frequencies. It just this world was vulnerable in its past and just was hijacked by magician beings. They didn't know what to do with this place after they took over. It kind of shows their adolescence, their ignorance, actually. As for the timeline frequencies here, yes, there's a lot of alterations with it. Not everything's going to make sense. It's not supposed to, because the agendas, there's different magician beings, messing with your world. Well, they do it on a fourth dimensional level. They can say they're kind of godlike. So there is a course of God frequency here too. A lot of times he just lets them do whatever they feel like until he gets, as long as he's entertained. So, but many of you come here for a certain mission, and eventually it will open that up, and you'll see it more connecting to the main timeline, assisting this Earth's frequency. Is that many that come here? They don't feel like they're doing anything here, but you are assisting the Earth's free. I mean, also you're warning too. It's like what you're going to do in your next life, but you're just. It's kind of like this world's like a merry-go-round. Yes, a very slow one, you can say. But of course, every different soul, a lot of souls come here to punish themselves. They feel like it's punishment, but it helps clear out their karma. There's a lot of karmic debt that's being cleared here, especially in the astral plane, when you can make a mistake so easily and then make another mistake and then make another mistake. And then, like, even a lot of dark magicians are here too, without their powers. And that's like a prison for them. They know it all exists. They know they can move mountains and all, and they can't do any of those things. So it's like one of the most depressing incarnations ever, one of them at least. And they have been here physically also, altering timelines, doing what, but they've been, obviously, a lot of them abused it. Not all of them, but quite a few of them did. So some of you might start remembering some of those energies, possibly, depending on your connections here. But there is a lot of new souls that come here that have no idea what they got themselves into. Of course, you have your common man here that's wants nothing to do. Well, they reject a lot of the spells because their collective consciousness is so strong. Obviously, they're part of a different spell of normalcy, of religion, but they're rejecting a lot of the darkness that's here. I mean, there is darkness here, but things could be a lot worse. Let's put it that way. So they do, it's like they might as well just keep it normal, slow, and it drives a lot of beings crazy with that. But it's like a lot of spells don't work here because of that, because of the slowness here. It does, things can be always worse, and it's not perfect. But you notice how many are tapping into like the end of the world, World War III, or anything like that. It's just a lot of those trickster brains trying to get the human collective to do those things. But the world is so slow. It's like, yeah, that's great, but we're not going to do that. So a lot of agendas are rejected here. A lot of dark magicians are working on creating those agendas. So a lot of dark magicians are talking about the end of the world, World War III and all of that, just because they really want to end this planet. But see, if they end it, they get this planet's energy. Like if they're the ones that are part of its destruction, it's there. It's like a prize. So obviously, if this world goes to a higher frequency, which won't happen anytime soon, Well, humanity has to start looking at things differently, which it is not. It refuses to do stuff right now. But the old ways will have to clear out eventually. As many do know, there's a lot of mysteries here. There's a lot. They want to stay ignorant forever. It's just when you start connected to the universe, as you know, things can get complicated. Will giants start appearing eventually? Dragons can appear, aliens can appear, and how many are really looking forward to that? Oh, it's not yet.